I saw when I was walking to the press room after the game, I saw Finch. I walked right by him, and he was just waiting for players to come and greet them. He got kicked out of the game last night. And once he got kicked out of the game, it kind of fired up the team a little bit, by the way.
Yeah, they went on an if you look at like the starting point for the run I don't think that's the reason why, but I guess if you want to point to that, you could. That was kind of the starting point for the run when he got kicked out of that game last night. Yeah.
Right. And you just wonder if this team needs a swift kick in the ass from his coach once in a while. Does this team need that? This team need a fiery guy that's going to. Now, again, you can't be somebody you're not, and Vogel kind of tried to be somebody he wasn't, and kind of
it was
the
too
players,
late. Yeah, they saw right through it.
Saw right through it, and it kind of backfired. And I don't know if Bud can be like that. Bud is very laid back. Bud is very calm. Just give credit to the defense, but he's. Very rarely have I ever heard him criticize his team, and I just wonder if this team needs a little criticism. I wonder if this team needs a little kick in the ass or somebody to tell them that that's not good enough. And that I was more upset with how the Washington games. Like, how was that a 3-point game with under a minute to play against Washington? They've lost 20 straight games.
Yeah,
like team's no good. Like you can't be a 3-point game against the Wizards who've lost 20 straight. At the end, that I wish that Bud would come out and say, in the end, like, that's not acceptable. We got to bury that team, and we didn't. And he doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't. And whether it comes from Bud, whether it comes from KD, whether it comes from Book. I mean, again, I think we all kind of know what you said 60 seconds ago. You can't be something you're not. I don't think any of those guys are that. Whereas Chris Finch. I don't know that much about Chris Finch other than he's the coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves and they eliminated the Suns last year. I think it's pretty obvious, how fiery he was after a win the other night against Atlanta, how fiery he was last night and getting ejected from that game. Even though it didn't look like he did anything to warrant getting ejected, he clearly said something.
I love the Bradley Beal reaction.
The Bradley Beal reaction was great. But if the Suns don't have that guy, and again, this is like a disguised, veiled Jimmy Butler conversation again. Hey, surprise, we're talking about Jimmy Butler. It's not supposed to be. Jimmy Butler won't fake it when he comes in here, right?
No.
Like, Jimmy Butler's not going to be pretending to be an edgy, angry, tough guy. He actually is, in fact, an edgy, angry, tough guy, which is partially why you're so attracted to him if you're a Suns fan or if you're the Suns organization, because you don't have that guy in your locker room. You haven't had that guy in your locker room since Chris or since Jay. And if you're asking everybody what was the secret sauce of that NBA Finals team, it's probably those two guys. It's probably those two guys and their edge and their attitude and their fire and their willingness to call guys out and say stuff and be kind of angry and not angry, but you know what I mean? Like that attitude behind the scenes. I don't think you can fake it. Because if any of the three guys that we just mentioned, I'll even throw Bradley Beal in there, come out and start being angry, throw stuff around, yell at a bunch of guys, is that really who they are? And won't everybody see a fake coming a mile away?
So Book is more like we're just chilling, right? I mean, after like big losses and stuff like that, he's just chilling. And on the road trip, in which they went on that road trip, they lost to Atlanta. They got clobbered by Cleveland. They went 3-2. Going into the final game against Brooklyn, they were 2-2. And yeah, it'd be great if we could win. It's hard to win on the road. 3-2 would be real. It's like he's saying 3-2 would be really good. We're like, you guys like,
yeah, but Durant's no better.
Right.
Durant's no better at that.
You would like it to be like, no, like, we win this game, we go 3-2, we got to be better than that. Like, we're trying to make a move. We don't want to be a play-in tournament team. With 3-2 is not good enough for us. We can't lose that game to Atlanta. They're missing two of their best players.
Yeah.
Can't lose that game. Got to be better against Cleveland. We can't get blown up by 30 against Cleveland. We just have to be. So, you want that, but you don't have anybody. That's not who you are, right? You can't be who you're not.
You can't be who you're not.
And Book, that's not Book, and that's not KD.
Doesn't sound like it's Coach Bud either.
And you don't have Jay Crowder on the team either.
Nope.
So it doesn't have to be a star.
No.
It could be a role player, but a relevant role player.
Players, right? It has to be one of your top players.
Yeah, it has to be a relevant role player that could do that, and it's just that's something that seems to be missing.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be missing. I think it is missing. I think that, but I also think we had this exact same conversation last year about Frank Vogel. We probably had this conversation 4 or 5 times last year about Frank Vogel. And I think, and you'll probably disagree with this, or maybe you won't. I don't know. I do think it distracts a little bit from the actual problem with the Phoenix Suns, and that is the talent. And that is the way the roster has been built and the way this team has been made. Like, I don't know if an angrier Phoenix Suns team is doing any better than the one we've got right now.
Okay, go to the talent. Go to the talent for a second. Isn't it hard to look at the talent on this roster and not believe that it's better than it is?
Oh, sure, but the results kind of speak for themselves.
I know, and you just you scratch your head like,
how can this not? Why is this not better? How should this not be better?
Right. Okay. They don't have as much athleticism as other teams. Okay, I get that. They may not have as much length as other teams. They're not a very physical team. I get all of that stuff. But you got Durant, one of the best players in the world. You've got Booker, who's a really great player. You've got good supporting cast guys that can shoot the three, like Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen. You got point guards now that can handle the ball.
I guess
part of it is like, wow, just why?
Yeah, and if you believe the missing ingredient is that angry, fiery kind of coach, then maybe they should have prioritized that more when they were looking for a new head coach in the offseason. Because I don't think Bud's that guy. I thought he was a little more fiery than this, but I don't think Bud's been that guy. Maybe he is behind closed doors, but I don't feel like he's been, if you were really prioritizing, hey, we need to bring in a real intense kind of dude at head coach, you had a chance to do that this past offseason. You didn't do it. Well, at least it doesn't seem as if you did.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are like a Tom Thibodeau. He wears on everybody, but Tom Thibodeau's that guy.
Sure.
Finch is that guy.
Sure.
He's going to get on his players. He's going to get on those guys. And so, Mike Budenholzer won an NBA championship. I mean, he's a terrific coach.
We said the same thing about Frank Vogel a year ago.
And he won with LeBron and AD.
Same thing. And so I don't know. Could they? This is why we're talking about Jimmy Butler. Could they use an infusion of edge? Absolutely. And when I say talented, understand it. I just mean that the talent is all out of balance. They have too much of one thing and not enough of another. They have too many elite shot makers and not enough of the tough guys who are willing to do the dirty work. Right? They have too much of one, and I think the talent is there. But the balance of how the talent is distributed on this roster, there's just too much of one and not enough of another. And I think that's where they could use that infusion of edge and defense and rebounding and offensive rebounding and these little things in the margins that they're constantly losing these games on.
I think I agree with you. It's not like this team's not got all this talent where you like they should be able to play and beat a lot of these teams. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But it might just be the mix isn't right. The way they mixed it, the ingredients together aren't right.
You could build a sports radio station with a bunch of Gambos, okay? Like a bunch of news break-in, insider, yelling, I got my blood pressure pill, Gambo types, right? And you'd have a lot of talent on that radio station. Would the talent be balanced out correctly if you didn't have somebody on the other side to balance it out, right?
You need somebody to be able to tell me what buttons to push, and no, you need
right. Like you need different kinds of hosts and different kinds of you just can't have everything of one.
I can't run a show, and I don't go to breaks and stuff as like you do. Yeah, like you need complementary players, right? You need a cast of complementary people.
You need a cast of different, I think, to make it work sometimes. When we come back,
like Jamal's different. All right, Jamal, there he is. I need Jamal.
You need Jamal, or
Jamal brings some different.
You gonna take my spot, Jamal?
No, you're fine. Your spot's safe. You're secure.
Okay.
You're the point guard. You're the point guard.
I'll play the Royce O'Neal role.
Is that what you?
Well, you're the point guard.
I've seen the footage of you bombs away.
Yeah.
I've seen the footage of you at Lifetime just jacking up threes, or wherever it is, Planet Fitness, wherever it is.
You're more like Tyus Jones. You don't turn the ball over as much. You don't turn the ball over very much.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.